What's happening, guys? We're just down at the beach, having a beach day because the weather's meant to go to the fizzer tomorrow. So I've literally got up this morning, hit the beach, watched the tide go out, watched dolphins, stingrays, lots of sun, lots of swimming, lots of sandcastles, and I thought it'd be a good time to finally show you the car because a lot of people seem to ask about our car, so I thought I'd give you a rundown on what's going on and what's changed from the old one to this one. Up front, Rhino 4x4 bull bar or bumper replacement bar. We've got a steady light bar, which a few people reckon we don't have enough lighting, but for what you do travelling as a family, we barely drive at night. So that's more than enough for what we're doing. Unidine UHF aerial, which once again we're not sort of going too extreme, so we don't need a massive aerial and 15 aerials. VRS 12,500 pound winch, which that one was the one off the old 105 that we had, if you watched that video. And underneath we have the ARB under vehicle protection kit, just so when we go wheeling and we're not built and all underneath, because the joys of all these new cars is they do have a lot of expensive flimsy parts underneath them. We have the allied wheels in the 17x8. A lot of people go 18s on the 200s, but we wanted the bigger sidewalls, once again for the off-road capabilities more than the looks for what we do with the car. And we have the Mickey Thompson ATZ P3s in a 305 70 17. Safari RMAX snorkel, which once again I didn't want it on the old car. On the Hilux we had the stainless snorkels and they just drone too much, so I just didn't want that travelling. MSA mirrors, so once again it's just got to be easy, so there's plenty of adjustment, and they've been awesome. So on the last car we had the clear view mirrors, and I just found the split was right at my eye level. I don't know, I must be short, and just annoyed me, so I just wanted a standard mirror that I could stand out on the towing. Yeah, and they had like an annoying wind sound as well. So Razzler Engineering rock sliders. Once again, we wanted a decent rock slider because you know it is built to be used. So I wanted them to actually hold the car up, and the car weighs 4 tonnes. So up top we have the Rhino rack platform with backbone mount. Just had that bit smarter mounting system that I liked on the newer vehicles. Rhino rack, long handle shovel holder. And we have the full bike rack for the 2 bigger bikes. The smaller bike, 12-inch, doesn't work with the full bike rack, so we'll get the 3rd one once she upgrades to a bigger bike. And they've been wicked because we can take the bikes with us when we don't have the van. Max Tracks, we have 4 of them. One of them things we don't use that often, but because we're always solo, definitely recommend having them. Darchi 270-degree awning. Absolutely love our Darchi gear. We do have a fair bit of it over different setups and swags and whatever else. So we do have all the walls to enclose all this back home in storage, but unfortunately we couldn't take everything, and we just decided we wouldn't actually be using the walls for a couple of hours at the beach. On the back, ARB steer wheel bar with no swing eyes. Also, once again on the old car, we had the swing eyes on the old car, and we just found it annoying to have to open them up and close them up every time we get in the boot, because as a family you find like you're always in and out of the car. The 75 litre Waco Dometic dual zone fridge and drop slide out of the old car, so it's got an MSA drop slide. So the trusty Titan drawers were also come out of the 105, so they've had a lot of use now and they've been faultless. And that's just got all our day use kind of bits and bobs in both of them. Recovery kit, North Storm bag in that one, tools in that one, jet boil, 10 metre flat hose, a couple of pots, pans and stuff like that just for day trips. We have the cargo barrier with shelf and fridge divider. So on the last car we had a cargo barrier with no fridge divider and shelf, and that's something we always wish we had done, but we skimped and we didn't do it and regretted it since. In this one we have the Perth Diesel Performance mounts to the ARB twin compressor. So that goes in there with ARB hoses. Travel buddy up the top, just for, once again, day trips, travel days when we're away from the van, etc, etc. And you can also see behind the seat there's a 100 litre water bladder. So that enables us to bring water, especially when we're at the beach. So that's the stone stomper. So that's the stone stomper that attaches to the caravan when we're towing. In the back, nothing too fancy. So that's the filler for the bladder. That's the drain for the bladder. Just some denim waterproof seat covers. Some decent floor mats.
They are from Max Tracks.
They are Max Tracks floor mats. And
Self-I Go.
I was just trying to say what? Super Fit. And we have the Super Fit denim feel seat covers. Front, we have...
Probably not much on this side.
Not much on the... So we have the quad lock phone holders for both of us. A couple of torches. Dash organiser from MSA also. That's come out of the old car. That's been awesome once again. Your sunglasses holders has winch controller and our tap key, just to store some water.
And we've also got personal.
Oh yeah, and we've got a personal location device that we keep up there. So if we in an accident or in any kind of emergency, we can reach that easy, and everyone knows where it is. On the driver's side, nothing too elaborate. ARB compressor and front and rear air lockers, and a Ultimate 9 throttle controller, which that's just awesome for the beach and for towing the van. Definitely recommend the Ultimate 9 throttle controller. Electric brake unit, just all easy. The Richards lockup kit. After getting the Richards lockup kit, we actually went there and got some work done to the van. Wealth of knowledge, good blokes, and helped us out a bucket load. And that lockup kit's awesome. As soon as she gets to 80, she just locks up, and the difference is insane. So definitely recommend a lockup kit on your 200. UHF, just a Uniden UHF, which is more than for what we need. Handheld UHF as a backup, and when we're away from the car. Apart from that, and it's got the GVM upgrade, 4,015 kilo GVM upgrade, 5 to 7 dBi Self-I Go antenna, a cellular antenna.
So that's what we use to power the Self-I Go, and that gives us reception.
Pretty much. Well, if you have any reception, it'll give you full reception.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So it doesn't create reception, it just boosts your reception. So as long as we have 1 bar of 3G, it keeps the dream alive. And that's a drop-down GME aerial, so it can swing down flat. So when the bikes aren't on there, we can fit undercover car parks. OME remote resi shocks, 400 kilo constant rears, and she's got the BP51 adjustable resis and the Tough Dog upper control arms, which it needed the upper control arms because the GVM gave it a bit of lift just to get it driving half decent again. Under the bonnet, nothing too elaborate. Flash lube diesel secondary filter, must have on your new diesels. There's a water separator that gets all the water out of your main fuel tank, and we've also got a little sensor in the car, a little red light, so when that's full, it alerts me and I can empty it and we're good to go. Again, flash lube catch can, once again, must have on your new diesels. Ultimate 9's Bluetooth battery monitors on the starter and auxiliary battery. Projector IDC 25 charger, which is one thing we'll probably replace because we haven't had a good run with projector in the van. And then we just have a XTM 200 watt solar blanket to charge it when we're not away, when we're not driving, just to keep the fridge going.
This is
next mod. So the airbox is known for dust, and we do heaps of dust driving already, and we've only... So I ordered a Moonlight Fabrication airbox, which runs the Duramax air filter. That's actually in the boot, I'll show you. So that's my next little purchase. So yeah, Moonlight Fabrications airbox, bigger filter, dust proof, unlike the because the 200 series are known for a terrible sealing airbox, which there's several things that you can get to help it, but I just wanted to spend the money and know it's going to be right and I don't have to worry about it, because we do see a lot of dusty roads and it will be going through some deep water. Also in the back, DVD headrests for the kids. They're just the cheaper versions that are actually in the car we got, but they've the saving grace for when we're travel days.
And we've rigged up a little Akubra.
Oh yeah, and this is literally a super cheap auto zip cords, and it just holds your Akubra in the car. Helmets up the back, just clip to the cargo barrier for the bike, so we've always got their helmets. Even when we're away from the van, we can get the bikes down and they can go for a ride.
You might have seen on our Instagram that we also have a water bladder that runs across the back floor as well.
Yeah, so there's a 85 litre water tank that goes to about that high across the floor. So yeah, the car can carry 185 litres of water on board. It weighs about 3,700 kilos, the GVM of this car now is.
But how much weight have we lost?
But we did go on a diet and Tiff and I have lost 20 kilos. So
we're doing favours for the GVM.
But it does give you an idea of, it hasn't got a heap of gear on it, there's not a heap of 12 volt, and it still weighs 3.7 tonne. We hooked the van on and we're about 39.50. So definitely recommend, before you buy a van or build a car, is actually literally sit down and work out all the weights, because it does add up very fast.
And also check your GVM laws in each state.
Yeah, GVM and GCM laws. So this 200 was purchased post-rego, so it meant because the vehicle's registered in Tasmania, we couldn't get a GCM upgrade, but different states have different laws on a GCM upgrades anyway, and if they honour them. So definitely do your homework, and pre-rego is definitely the best method for GVM and GCM upgrades. And I definitely need a GVM upgrade if you're towing a caravan anyway by the time you had your ball weight. So this is a November 2017. It had about 62,000 Ks on when we bought it. But it's been awesome so far. Definitely a huge upgrade from the 105 we had. It's got all the same, the stuff we loved off the 105, and it's ditched the stuff we hated on the 105. The 105 was manual, it was slow, it was heavy, it had unnecessary bar work, It had like 35-inch tyres, which were unnecessary. It didn't have the fridge divider, so everything used to fall behind the fridge. It had a full bull bar, which we never used. Since we got this car, everyone reckons I'm going to hit a big Roo, which I might one day, but we never actually needed the bull bar on the other car, and I only wanted the bull bar on this car for the winch. So I opted for a light bumper replacement type bull bar for that reason. We ditched the twin wheel carriers. The old one had a steel roof basket, which was heavy and rusty, and yeah, that was actually really heavy. And the 105 had a custom 4-inch stainless snorkel, which looked cool, but the drone was just too much for me, so we ditched that. But yeah, no, I actually like this one more than the old one. So
we've got solid axle,
which hasn't been an issue yet, but who knows. But yeah, like you say, it's got nothing too fancy with electrical. It's just got a crappy AGM battery at the moment. Definitely want to replace that because that was they built the car. Andrew, we built the car.
We might insert some footage if
So we built the car in our garage. So Tasmania went into lockdown for 6 weeks. 2 weeks after we bought the car, we ordered all the parts as we went, and just built it in the garage of a night time. I did a bit of fitting for a couple of years full time, so I kind of have a rough idea of what I'm going to do. I'm no expert. And with Tiff's help, we literally built it all ourselves. The only things we didn't do was the GVM upgrade, because they had to be installed by a qualified installer or registered installer. So it was the suspension.
And obviously wheels and tyres got done at a time.
Yeah, wheels and tyres got fitted at a tyre shop, but it's got the 2.5-inch Manta exhaust. Goes roughly to where the kids' seats are in the back, and then it goes into a single 3-inch with one muffler. It does drone a little bit, but it's not too bad. Definitely need at least one muffler for towing. It's got the Manta tune remap, so it's got the Manta remap as well, which that's awesome.
That changed it.
Yeah, so that's whatever it is, 35% more power.
So
whatever.
between that and the throttle controller.
Yep. So on these, a lot of people reckon you don't need the throttle controllers; you just use the power button. But it's fully adjustable, the Ultimate 9, so you can't compare the two. In 9.
4 settings, isn't it?
9.
Isn't it 4, and then you can go between 0 and 9?
Oh yeah. So on the Ultimate 9 you can choose various settings, which for towing a caravan, off-road, you kind of got to get it bang on right for your throttle control. So that's changed everything.
On auto.
Yeah, and we just literally have it on auto, and it just kind of balances itself out, and it seems to be pretty sweet. A little bit on the sensitive side, but if you're not towing,
you just dial it back.
yeah, but then you can just dial it back. But I literally just leave it on AC, and it's kind of just balances itself out. It works out to my foot.
Changed completely.
Yeah, completely changed the car, and that was very easy to install. Tiff installed that literally down on the water, didn't you? One night when we was having tea. So
don't even use the power button anymore.
nah,
So
no, you don't have. Yeah, that's right. So we don't use any of that anymore. So the new airbox will go in. Would love a upgraded intercooler, just once again for towing. Whether that happens, they're not a cheap little exercise, so we'll see how we go with that. Yeah, so intercooler was about $2,500. Airbox was about 1,100. So yeah, intercooler is expensive. Upgraded intercooler and upgraded transcooler in the perfect world, but it's totally fine how it is at the moment, so we'll just roll with how it is. So with us doing all the work ourselves and salvaging what we could out of the other car, and we got looked after on a few of the bits and bobs, nothing too crazy to write home about. We definitely have to thank Allied Wheels for helping us out. We have to thank Ultimate 9 for helping us out. And Northwest Off-Road for helping us out. But all up was probably about 40 grand with us doing most of the work ourselves, so it definitely does add up fast. but it was stock standard when we bought it. So,
Find one with a bit of gear on it.
so if you can find one with a bit of gear on it, it is probably worth getting, but it's finding one that's been looked after and is for sale for a genuine reason. But yeah, we probably saved 10 grand in labour doing it all ourselves, but it was a big job. Few swear words, few beers, few Jack Daniels. But now we're reaping the benefits, so it kind of all seems worthwhile. And
It's our ultimate tourer now.
yeah, so it's our ultimate tourer, and it's also proud to say that you've done it yourself. And if something goes wrong, I kind of have more of an understanding of what I've done, and I can only blame myself if it does go wrong, I suppose.
Because how different are these cars to the old?
Yeah, so there's a lot more technology in this car, and I'm not definitely not a tech guy. But yeah, we'll see how we go. There's plenty of these around getting big Ks out of them now and done a lot of travelling, so.
They've really started to prove themselves.
Yeah, so when they first came out, everyone thought they were going to be a bit of a lemon, I think, but as they've been around a fair while, I think Toyota's done it again and got a good motor. Whether what happens with the 300 series going to V6.
I just don't think they're old enough to see if you can get a million Ks out of them yet.
No, that's right. So time will tell what the new Landcruisers are, but apparently you can't order these anymore.
She's a sad
Yeah, they've stopped releasing them now. So even if you order one, want to order one, it's too late. So gone of another good Landcruiser. But that's a rough look around the cruiser without getting too in-depth and boring, and hopefully you liked our cruiser, and we'll be sure to finally get a caravan walkthrough video up shortly. We're just waiting on the kids to let us film, and good weather and the time to actually do it, and then we'll have the caravan video up as well, because I know you're all desperately wanting to see our new setup on the van as well.
The problem is we keep changing things.
Yeah, so we keep changing things. Even on the car, so we keep changing things on the car a little bit, but the van's been tricky because we're constantly changing and shuffling stuff around to suit us and make it as good as it can be for what we do living full time. So every time we kind of film it or go to film it, then we change something before we actually start editing that video.
We change things on the road.
And then we change things on the road, so we're just sort of at a stage where we kind of almost content with our setup on the caravan now, and it's actually been awesome. So stay tuned to watch that. Make sure you like, subscribe, and any comments, any questions, make sure you ask away. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Instagram is our main one where you'll stay up to date with our travels. Cheers guys.